Today we're going to talk about business video surveillance and how you can install live video feeds in your commercial business that you can monitor at any time on your cell phone without any monthly fees, dues, or subscriptions. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith, and you're watching Locksmith Recommended. So nowadays you could simply buy a video surveillance system online that'll allow you to install cameras in your offices that you can then download an app and remotely monitor those video feeds from your cell phone at any time. This is very useful. So what we do in our locations is we have an alarm company that monitors our doors and motion sensors and things of that nature. Very, very inexpensive local company, about $20 a month for their service. Should they ever call me up because an alarm has gone off, I'm able just to pull up my cell phone at that point, check my cell phone, look at the live video, and find out exactly what's going on in my business. And I don't have to pay anything for this service because it's all done because of the equipment I bought and the app on my phone. It's very, very useful. So we have techs setting off alarms every now and again when they're on a late night call and they go into the shop and they unlock the shop and they don't get to the alarm in time because they're tired and sleepy. This enables me to check it and say, okay, it's just a tech, it's fine, here's my passcode, don't dispatch the police. Because I don't know about your town, but in my town, if they send an officer to your location and it's a false alarm, you get billed for that service. Today I'm talking about this product that I bought on eBay. It's not the normal video surveillance product we use. All my locations are using a product called QC, which is tried and true. The app on the phone, it's super easy to set up, super easy to use. But this one happened to be on sale, so I decided to try it and install it. I'll show a little bit of the install going on, show you the live video feeds from the cell phone after everything's all set up. Let's take a look at this box and see what's inside of it. Inside the box is two more boxes. All right, so here's the main brains of our system, the DVR system. This is where we hook the video recording equipment up, and you hook your cameras directly up to these 8 ports. This one's an 8-camera system. We're only going to hook 4 up today in our shop. You're also able to do a monitor out on this system so that you can display your live video feed on a monitor within the business. We like that feature as well. This one connects to the internet via Ethernet cable so that we can live monitor the feed. One thing I want to note is this one has a 1 terabyte DVR in it to capture the video surveillance. You really don't need one that big. They make them much larger, but because our cameras are only motion triggered and we will normally know right away whether or not we need to access that information and save that information, 1 terabyte is more than sufficient for most small businesses. Let's take a look at what's in the next box. So if that's our DVR system, then this one is most likely the cameras and the cables. And it is. So each camera comes with a pair of coaxial cable that we're going to lay out and run along the ceiling and connect the cameras up. You're also going to have a power supply that'll feed the cables that connects to your DVR unit. And then here are the cameras that came with this particular unit. And this here, I should mention, this is a splitter for the power supply. So I plug it into the power supply, and then these 4 power outlets go into my cables, which feed to the camera. That's going to not only power the camera, but that's going to send the video feed back to the DVR. The cameras that came with this system are LED. They're good for night vision, and they're also high def. So one of the things I like to do before I get started installing the video surveillance system is I will hook everything up and test it just to make sure that I can see all the cameras displayed on my monitor and that everything's working before I wire everything up into the building. And the other thing, let me just show you how these connections work because I just hit on it just a little bit. So here are your connections that go between the DVR and your camera. So I'll hook this splitter up to my power supply. That enables me to power right in. Then here's the power connection that goes in and feeds power to the camera. And then this is my jack, which will actually connect in, and this is what communicates the video information back to the DVR. So it's very easy to use, very easy to connect. Here's the other side of that cable, so the power goes in there, and that's how you get power and the signal back to the camera. Very easy to use. Here's where we're eventually going to be placing our video recorder. So I just want to get everything connected so that I can test the cameras and make sure they're working before I go through the effort of wiring everything up externally. So right now I'm just going to hook cameras up and make sure that they are indeed working. Plug in channel 1. One of the things you're going to want to do to make sure that you're doing is you can see that there's two different adapters here. One of the power cables is a female adapter and the other one is a male adapter. So you want to make sure that the male adapter is the one that you're sending out to the camera. When I first started doing these, more than once I ran it the wrong way and had to redo it. You don't want to be caught doing that. So in order to test this, that's how you would set that up. All right, now I just got the one camera laying up there to test it. I keep my monitor close by so I can test everything. I'm going to also use this to set everything up a little bit later on. But first I want to test all the cameras, then I'll get the electronics set up, and then I'll actually run the cameras. That's going to be one of the last things I do. All right, now I've got all 4 cameras plugged in just to show that they are in fact working. So I know that all my cameras are good, all my cables are good, and I can continue with the setup. Now these cameras come very easy to set up, and one of the things I'm going to need to do is download the app to my phone. Now I'm going to download the app. You won't be able to see me do that, but I'm going to go ahead and scan that Android barcode and download the app to my phone. QR code took me to the XVR Pro app that it needs me to download, so I'm going to install that app now. Then now I'm going to actually set up my device. And in order to do that, I need to manage devices. So I'm going to go into my window and I'm going to select devices. And it says I don't have any, so I'm going to add my device. And now it's asking me to name it. Now I'm putting this device at my Mesa location, so I'm going to say Mesa. That way I know where this device is at when I'm viewing it. And now it's asking me for some other information, which I'm not going to display for you, but it wants a username, a password, and a GID. And you can see a little barcode symbol there. Now the box also had a barcode symbol on it, and I can scan that in to auto-populate this field. Okay, a couple of quick notes on this that are a little bit different than the way the QC works. I did not have a barcode to scan on the box. That enabled me to automatically load it, but this did have a very neat feature that actually let me scan. Let me go ahead and add this add a new device. This wireless symbol that you see that I just selected allows me to scan the network and find the device ID. So there's my device ID right there, and so then I could just select it, so I didn't need to use the QID code at all. And then there's an auto get feature that allows you to automatically get all the cameras that you have linked into your system. So this was very easy to set up. So I can select my camera, I can get all of my channels, and then I can start my live preview. This supports 8 cameras. I only have 4 connected, but I can select 4 cameras. And again, my cameras are just strewn about, but as you can see, I have live monitoring on my phone at this point. So now I can go and actually install these cameras, beautify everything, make everything look good, and get a live image from my home of the cameras in my shop. Where are you going to put the cameras? I like to cover a camera on each door for my business, so I'll place one here by the back door, and then I will place one up facing the front door, so I have a live view of the front door at all times. And then I also like to have a second camera focused solely on the lobby of my business, and then one focused solely on the register and anybody at the register. All right, a couple of real quick notes on these cameras. First off, they just got 3 holes in them to screw into the drywall, and they come with these little packages of screws. I just throw those away. I don't like them. They're hard to use. This is a new screw that they have out specifically for drywall. Now, according to the manufacturer, these will hold 100 pounds, and it's specifically for a drywall screw. So there's no pre-drilling. These go into the drywall super easy, through these holes super easy, so it makes the installation very, very quick. And since they're hold 100 pounds, and this weighs maybe a quarter of a pound, I'm not going to ever risk these falling. So these are kind of new and I like them. We actually use them for our keyboards. As you can see, they are holding up all those keys, so they are certainly strong, and I recommend that just for ease of use. I want a good shot of our cash register. So the first camera I'm going to mount, I'm just going to put right up there, pointed down, right onto the register. Now, way back there in the corner is where my DVR is set up. So this camera, way over here, was my camera that was the furthest away. And I wanted to make sure that my cord reached, so I actually ran the cord before I ran the camera. And once I got the camera where I wanted it and made sure the cord was long enough to get there, I just went ahead and wound the cord up and stapled it into the wall like that to secure it. The camera that's going to watch the back door is going up right there. All right, so now I'm going to send the wiring to all the cameras. You can see 2 of the cameras behind me. Again, I already ran the wiring to the one that was a long way away, so I know the ones that are closer, the cable's going to have no problem fitting. I think these ones had 50-foot cables, maybe 75, I'm not sure, because that one is quite a ways away. What I use basically just to secure them to the wall is a nice staple gun. This isn't electronic, it isn't anything fancy, but I like it. Primarily I like it because right here I can adjust the depth very easily to leave a 1/4 inch gap or an 1/8 inch gap or flush with the drywall when I'm using it, and that enables me to ensure that I'm not actually going to cut the cable as I staple it to the drywall. I'll leave a link to this one below. They're very inexpensive, about 20 bucks, but this one I use all the time and I really like it. So here what I do when I run them is I start at the camera and I work my way back to the DVR, and then that way any extra cable that I might have, I'll just wrap up at the DVR end of it, tuck it away nice and neat. And it's always a good idea when you're at the camera to go ahead and make the connection on the cable. That way you're guaranteed that you've got the right end at the camera and you're not going to end up having to redo anything later after you've already gone and secured it. Okay, all the wiring is done, feeding down into the DVR. I come to my temporary display here and I can see that everything is set up and working. Now the last thing I need to do is point the cameras in the places I want them to go and just make that adjustment. And I prefer to make that adjustment from the actual app itself because I could be right at the camera when I do it. All right, so here's the camera aimed at the back door. It actually looks pretty good, but what I'm going to want to do to it is I'm going to want to straighten it out so my door is not crooked. So I'm able to do that just rotating the camera. And that looks like the shot I want to get. Now with this app, in case I ever get an alarm and I want to check it, I do have this zoom feature so I can zoom in on anything going on, and then I could just hit the camera and take a screenshot or hit a video and get a rolling video of what's happening. So that camera looks good to go, and now I'm going to adjust the rest. Alrighty, now so here's my live video feed from my store. Now this actually took me a little bit longer than I anticipated. The bulk of the time, of course, is running the wires. But you can see all the cameras are set up now. Everything looks great now, and I can access this video feed from anywhere. I got this camera set on eBay. It was roughly $250. It's an 8-camera system and only comes with 4 cameras. 4 cameras is actually perfect for our locations because we can cover all the entries in the cash register and our product wall with 4 cameras beautifully. So I'll put a link below to the product if you're interested in that. You can also get the QC product available on eBay and Amazon. I'll put links below to that as well. A little more expensive, but this one seems to do the job and it was very affordable. Now, before I get all the text on it, I see the wires running down the wall where I hooked into the DVR. I've got wires running to the camera. It's all exposed. Yeah, somebody can come in here and just start snipping those and taking out camera feeds. But I use this system as a way to quickly determine whether or not the alarm company needs to dispatch officers out to my location. I get a phone call as soon as the alarm goes off, as soon as the door is opened, or as soon as motion is detected. I pick up my phone, I can check out the live feed. If nothing's going on, I can wave them off and say, don't send anyone. But if something is going on, I can get stills, I can get a video, everything on my camera within seconds. So even if they cut those wires or grab the DVR, I still have the evidence I need to give to the police. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith, and you're watching Locksmith Recommended.